Thank you so much for tuning in and being here once again. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who take the time to watch these videos once a week, and I can't tell you how amazing the support has been. I have met with a few of you this year that have really inspired me, motivated me to keep going. To all the people that have messaged me, emailed me, and just said that this was necessary, and even like the funny aspects of it all, I am grateful, so grateful. To all my girls that are in ministry that have gotten something out of this, I can't thank you enough. You don't know how much it means and how much it has actually just helped me get my thoughts together, continue to do this. So thank you. Thank you so much for your constant support. Please share, like, and comment on these videos. I have gotten a lot of questions, or people have said that they find it really hard to find them because they either go to my name or something like that, and it is under Lexational. Lexational has been my username for so long, I honestly don't even know what to change it to. So thank you so much. In today's episode, we're gonna go back to Preacha Girl. Now, I've gotten a few questions for Hey Girl Hey, and a lot of them have to do with relationships. And I will be filming a new episode on that coming up real soon. So stay tuned for that. For this episode, I wanted to go back to Preacha Girl because for the last several years, I've gotten the question, how do I get my name out there? How do I receive exposure to be able to preach on larger platforms, to be able to be called by different ministries, to preach, sing, minister, whatever the case may be? And I wanted to answer that my way today on this channel, so stay tuned. So my husband and I since January have been going to different trainings, different meetings, etc. And on one of my trips back in January, I was confronted with a heart moment. And it was after a session that we had, and I was on my way to connect with my husband and the other team when there was two women that were off to the side, and I did not want to intrude or impose upon them, but I also wanted to acknowledge them. I didn't want to make them feel like I just walked past them and ignored them. So I, as gently as I could, said, "Hi, how are you?" And upon doing that, I received an invitation to come join them, and they were just having an intimate moment of talking and ministering to each other, just building each other up, and I can sense that. I can sense that it was such an intimate moment. And let me just say, both of these women are amazing, and they are overseeing some pretty heavy ministries. So one of the women who I knew growing up and is now has a national position now, she mentioned to us that it was very surprising to her how the Lord opens up all these opportunities for her that she never yearned for, she never wanted. And every time she finds herself in a place serving and serving with all her heart, all of a sudden another door is opened that she never expected. Immediately at that moment, the Holy Spirit flooded me with thoughts and conviction and answers all at the same time. So I'm there, not there, you know. It's like it's one of those moments. I don't know if you've ever had them, but you see, because if I can be honest with you, which I will be, and you know it, this is just gonna be honest with you. 3 years ago, I started feeling something that I don't think I've ever felt before in ministry. And I'm gonna be as real as possible. As I was walking through these emotions and these feelings, I knew that they were not positive, they were not right. I knew that I had to give these to God. He needed to deal with these. He needed to show me how to handle these. And the feelings that I was getting was a sense of entitlement. I started feeling entitled to certain ministry opportunities or platforms. And I've been doing this for quite some time and always excited about every assignment. But now I think, I'm not sure where it crept in, but I remember the thoughts of seeing different clips or posters or something for these up and coming ministries of other women, and thinking, why did they get that? How did that happen for them? Why am I not there? What did they do? What is so different from them than me? Yeah, I thought that. Yes, this is definitely nothing to boast about, totally embarrassing, but I made a promise to God that this channel would help someone get to the place that He's called them to, and by using my life experience. So that's where I was. And let me tell you, God truly had to deal with me in this area, and He had to deal with my heart condition because it was all wrong. So getting back to this moment, as she's talking, as she's sharing this story, all of a sudden I remember every opportunity I got to preach, to sing, to teach, it was never me. Every opportunity I had or I've received to lead, it was never me. I have never promoted myself or handed a resume. It was never me. In the last 20 plus years, every door that has been open is because God has favored me enough to open that door, or He's given me grace with different ministries and people, but I never merited them. There is nothing that I can do to be worthy of any platform that I get to share His word, not my word, but His word. So as she's talking, it's just like a flood of memories, just saying, do you remember when I opened this door up for you? Do you remember when I gave you this opportunity? Do you remember when you weren't even ready to speak to these people and I gave you a word? And it was just, man, it was total annihilation of pride. Pride had to go that day. Pride went, bye-bye, I'm out of here. Pack my bags, I'm out. It was that real. The only thing that I do remember is simply having a heart to serve God, to love God, and to be useful. Here I am. Do whatever it is you wish to do with me. If you need someone, I'm right here. You need someone for the bathrooms, to put the chairs up, to help with the buckets for offering, whatever it is that you need, here I am. You need somebody to drive the van? Hello. It's me. And I remember as she's talking, that was the only thing that really mattered. So what changed? You know, it is great for us to have dreams. It is so great. I remember the story of Joseph, one of my favorite stories in the Old Testament. Joseph was born with dreams, and I believe they were God-given dreams. See, because there's a difference when we dream for ourselves and we allow God to dream for us. And Joseph's dreams were not for him. They were for a much greater purpose. He wasn't desiring the position for himself. He was just sharing what was on the inside. Look, I dreamt this. I don't know what that means. And little did he know that God was going to use that dream much later. So here are 2 tips on how those platforms, how that exposure will ever come your way. Number 1, part of having that exposure and those large platforms is never wanting them in the first place. You can ask some of the greatest speakers, preachers, evangelists, authors that we know today. They never thought that they'd be where they're at. And I'll get into that in number 2. But there is a portion in the Bible that totally slayed me, and I want to read that to you now. It's found in Luke chapter 14, verses 7 through 11. When Jesus noticed that all who had come to the dinner were trying to sit in the seats of honor near the head of the table, He gave them this advice. When you're invited to a wedding feast, don't sit in the seat of honor. What if someone who is more distinguished than you has also been invited? The host will come and say, give this person your seat. Then you will be embarrassed. You will have to take whatever seat is left at the foot of the table. Instead, take the lowest place at the foot of the table. Then when your host sees you, he will come and say, friend, we have a better place for you. Then you will be honored in front of all the other guests. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. I need you to ask yourself today, where is your heart in desiring these platforms and this prestige? These are some very hard questions that I had to ask myself. Like, am I doing this to bring glory to the Father? Or am I seeking this and yearning this to get the applause of the people? Because if that is so, then I'm in the wrong business. Here's the truth. You can build the best website ever. You can take the most awesome pictures and Photoshop yourself out. You can write the best sermons, but that will only get you so far. This is what I've learned, and this is what is a biblical truth. It is God and only God that brings the increase. So here's my second advice. For those of you who are desiring more platforms, more exposure, more invitations. Number 2, the larger the platform you are desiring or acquiring, the larger the trials, the greater the trials that you will have to go through in your life. Going back to the story of Joseph, Joseph had to go through the hate of his brothers for his dream. After that, he had to go through betrayal, from a pit to being falsely accused, to prison, to the darkest place in his life, and to be forgotten. Yeah, there are going to be moments in ministry where you will be forgotten. But then all of a sudden, God's word comes to pass in his life and he gets promoted. So if you are asking God, and if you are saying to yourself that you are going to make it to these huge platforms, ask the people before you that are in these platforms and in these places what they had to go through to get there. See, because if it was a God-given platform, then they had to go through many trials to see God give them victory time and time and time and time again. Before we can preach that God is our deliverer, we have to be delivered. Before we can preach that God is our healer, we're going to have to go through illness. So make sure that you are ready to pay the cost for the pulpit or the platform that you're asking for, because every platform comes with a price. I can honestly tell you that in these 20-something years of being chosen to minister in whatever way I can, it has only been God opening those doors. Either it didn't matter if it was speaking to 20 or speaking to 2,000. It was all God, and I am so grateful for it. You know, some of the greatest pastors now and then never desired the name, the luxury, the glory. Ask David. David was just tending sheep. And so you may be thinking, well, am I always going to be, in the back? Am I always going to be the last one called? Listen, I don't know how long, but I do know this. I know that the more and more you seek his presence, the more and more you serve with all of your heart, it gets you closer to those platforms that others cannot open for you but him. So don't desire them. Instead, desire his presence, desire desire intimacy, get to know him. So today there was no jokes, no gimmicks. Today was me speaking to you from my heart, and I really hope that this ministered to someone. Now, before I end this video, I want to tell you that this week I reconnected with a remarkable woman. It is not my place to tell her story, and maybe one day she will be on this channel, but I know a little bit of her story. She has been open with me, and let me tell you, when Some of you may not understand yet, but you will. When I tell you that platforms come with a price, she has paid a heavy price. And God has just strengthened her. He is promoting her. He is doing amazing things with her. And one of the things that she's doing is an online forum for women that have been called to ministry. She has a website to teach women and give women the fundamentals on how to find their voice, how to organize their thoughts, and how to deliver with confidence. Man, I wish I had that 20 years ago. Even today, I think I may take up on some of these lessons. I'm going to put her link down below. Her name is Christi Miranda. You need to check her out. She's dynamic. That girl is every culture in one. Fantastic. The girl can sing, she can worship, she can preach, she can teach. She's loving, she's nurturing, and she has so much to give. So check her out. I'm going to put her link down below. Don't miss out. Go on her website, find out more information. Check her out on www.preachgirl.org. Yeah, I didn't even know that her thing was Preach Girl. See? 2 in 1. We're all here connected. So check her out. You will be blessed. We're doing this for you because we believe in the calling that God has over your life. Now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And there's this little bell thing that reminds you or lets you know, because you know your girl said Thursday, but she doesn't know what time on Thursday these videos are going to drop. So please go ahead, click the bell so that you know when the next episodes are out of Preacha Girl or Hey Girl Hey or any other random thing that I'm doing on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. As always, enjoy the journey, and this is my time. Love you. Talk to you soon.